Listen to the music. Focus on the music.
Pippet! 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 Come on, Pippet! Pippet!
This is the technique used by John Williams. Very familiar. In another example, again. Hold on, gotta hit the play button. Again, try to raise your oral awareness of what's going on, not the visual.
Hey, he's taking it, he's taking it, he's taking it. Hey, hey, go, 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 go.
And the last example by Alan Silvestri used digital samples to demonstrate the growth of digital jungle styles. The name of the technique is leitmotif. The literal definition is leading motif, a recurring theme used in classical music, film scores, popular music, game soundtracks, literature, drama, to present a person, place, or idea very effectively. Leitmotif. Thank you.
Now, we're going to hear from Suzanne Rhodes, who will tell us about faculty incentive program highlights from the University of Texas, Austin.
Hello, everyone. For 5 minutes of fame, I would like to share 5 cool projects from 2 of our incentive programs, FastTech and ITAP. FastTech stands for Faculty and Student Teams for Technology program. Faculty envision an IT product that will enhance teaching and learning in their course, across courses, and also departments. We evaluate faculty project proposals, grant the project between 100 and 600 hours per year, and then appoint students to develop the projects. For the student developers, FastTech is a creative freelance job with some full-time staff support and provides them an opportunity to work on authentic projects with faculty as clients. We hire 60 student developers a year for about 50 projects. After about 2 years of initial development, they are entered in ITAP, which is the Innovative Instructional Technology Awards program, and that's sponsored by the provost. Entries are judged by prominent UT faculty and nationally recognized experts in teaching, learning, and technology, and there's a few ITAP judges in this room today. The strongest, most innovative entries receive cash awards, and teaching and learning outcomes data reports are part of the submission process. So ITAP represents a nice completion point for the project incubation cycle, started by FastTech. So next up are 5 FastTech projects that were also entered in ITAP. First is a competitive team-based simulation for accounting students. Students experience pricing products in a market with instant profit-loss feedback in class. Students submit their prices via a website that contains demand and profit functions that are interrelated among firms, thereby simulating market feedback. After 5 rounds, students have experienced the effect of idiosyncratic product pricing systems on the competitive marketplace. The results are charted, showing that prices eventually reach a convergence point and that costs do make a difference in profits. Using real examples of humans in motion significantly enriches kinesiology courses that focus on the biomechanical analysis of human movement. We developed a Flash-based application for digital video analysis that, when used with instructional modules, enables students to select from a library of high-speed video clips of human movement suitable for analysis. These clips include examples of elite sports performance, clinical studies, and typical everyday movement. And also, students can track, measure, and analyze important characteristics of the human subjects in the video. For example, trajectory, velocity, and acceleration of certain body parts. Number 3, the Center for American Music Listening Libraries is, Sister Arts is a virtual museum of resources focusing on the 18th century representations of the British landscape, architecture, art, and literature. Also included is a reconstruction of a garden that no longer exists in the real world, so students may experience the garden not only through a few sketches and literary descriptions, but also through 3D animated fly-throughs created with Maya. The Center for American Music Listening Library is a central resource intended for students enrolled in courses related to the history of American music. It's a Flash and Tamino XML database-driven website, housing a wide variety of musical examples as MP3s. Each track is available as a single piece to be played straight through and as a series of excerpts keyed to a listening chart. So this media combination enables students to learn to listen and to focus their attention section by section, so they can catch the characteristic rhythms of a particular genre, follow the form of a popular song, and differentiate between musical textures. The last one, communication studies students are asked to reflect on a semester-long internship project and how choosing that career would impact their overall quality of life. The students' personal reflections over the semester are collected via pen and paper journals and via a PDA, qualitative assessment program called IESP, an open source experience sampling program. This software prompts the students with Likert type questions at random times during the day, asking them to record their experience of various dimensions of time at that very moment. This data is saved to a database. The database was built by the FastTech student and then reported back to the student intern at the end of the semester. So then students can analyze how their experience of time changes across day, week, and the semester. So, to wrap up, our incentive program experiences from a research university that is highly decentralized. It takes several years to develop, test, redevelop, and enhance a product before you see significant results and teaching and learning improvements. And for a project to become a competitive award winner, and overall, it's very rewarding. Barely.
We're doing good. That's 2 out of 3 gongs. Now, Richard Shingles and Mike Reese from Johns Hopkins University are going to show us their interactive map authoring tool.
Thank you. Well, yesterday we learned that this classroom is actually used to teach the general biology class here. And at Hopkins, we also have a very large general biology class, over 300 students, 99% of them pre-med, as I'm sure is the case here, no pun intended. Sorry about that. The challenge to the faculty in these classes is taking the information and concepts they learn in these classes and applying it to the real world outside. So yesterday, Brenda talked about the new learners being able to step from the real world and go into the information technology world very easily, go back and forth. But we want to take this a little bit further, the analogy a little bit further, and indicate that it's not stepping from one world into the other, but rather actually stepping from one world to the other through a portal, and the portal is the technology that they actually use. And that was sort of the concept behind the interactive map tool that we developed at the Center for Educational Resources at Hopkins. So it's based on some kind of a map. It's designed to be discipline agnostic. Here we use a map of the campus. And all of these little yellow areas you see in there that represent like police tape, those represent little green areas on the campus. Each one of those is actually a hot spot that students can actually touch on and go in and get information related to these different areas. Since we have a large class, we actually divide them up into teams. So we have several classes assigned to the areas. They go straight to their area, their home area, and they're responsible for it for the entire semester. They will see aerial photographs. of their particular area. They can see the contact information for other people assigned to their teams. They will see the assignments that they actually have to do in the field, and they can also see past assignments. And this is very important for them to be able to see past assignments, because now they can do longitudinal studies through a duration of a semester, or comparing one semester to another, or even 1 year to another. So the students are actually performing a bio blog for us of information that we can carry on through subsequent years. Faculty interact with the map by writing the assignments and doing the grading on this. So fairly simple for them, which they like. The students themselves doing the assignments can upload all kinds of media. So here's a picture of a couple of students in their area hugging their favorite organism. Other kinds of media, such as audio. No, that's not a screech owl. That's actually an insect, which is the cicadas that were infesting us. And the students can use this information and compare the sound with voice prints to sit there and actually identify the cicadas. So they're using all of their senses when they go out and do these experiments. And they can also sit there and access all of the other little areas that you saw on that map, and they can accumulate and summate all of the data to accumulate data for the entire campus. So here's an example where they were counting all of the oak trees on the campus, and then they counted all the squirrels in their areas and summated those, and found the number of predators. And the great thing about this is you can see they can also be very creative in their submissions, and they show us, to the faculty anyway, that they actually have the concept of what a pyramid of biomass is. And so this is a great way for them to be very expressive to us as well. We've done this project for a couple of years now. We've done a lot of evaluations, and through this focus group here is a nice little example of a student's annotation in this, and I think it sort of exemplifies some of the goals that we're trying to achieve with this map. And I'm going to turn it over to Mike now to talk about another project that's also been using it.
Thank you, Richard. Richard is one of the faculty members in this class, and they had such a great success with the tool that we wanted to use the tool with some faculty in other disciplines as well. And because we've designed this to be a template that's really a generic map authoring tool, we were able to recruit some faculty in the humanities who use the tool for a course on cities, in which students are looking at the city through the lens of different disciplines, art historians, sociologists, engineers. And for the students' final assignment, they were expected to group into teams and then go out and collect data and analyze it surrounding various urban issues. So one of the project teams was looking at how public health services are provided through the public education system. Another group was looking at how the use of heroin and general drug use is impacting social services. And another team was actually looking at public art. So what you see here is the map tool with a map of Baltimore in the middle, and the students created hotspots where all of the public murals are around town. And they went out and took photographs of those murals. They interviewed the artists with video cameras or with iPods and mics. And for each one of these pieces, one of these hotspots, the students uploaded data. So what you're seeing here is an image of a mural with the artist there. There's catalog information about it. And then also audio interviews if they were able to capture those. And they used the tool to collect this data, analyze it, and then also present it to the class. And this actually turned out to be another success story. The city government is actually interested in taking over this particular map to help publicize the public murals project that's going on in Baltimore. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact us about that. We're going to be talking more about... Thank you. Good job, Mike. Next, from Michigan State University, Brian Wynn is going to talk about life preservers, playing with evolution.
Thank you. Well, I have to tell you that my heart is racing. I've got the Jaws theme in my head. I got a set time limit. It feels like I'm playing a really good game right now, so I'm jammed. So I'm going to talk about Life Preservers, which is a national science-funded game that's being developed at the Michigan State University Games for Entertainment and Learning Lab by myself and my colleague Carrie Heater and a number of our students. In terms of goals for this game, we're setting out to teach the national science standards about evolution and adaptation for a middle school audience. We're creating a game that hopefully is playable online in a single classroom, so we're looking for about a 40 to 45-minute play experience. We're exploring many issues in educational game design as we do this project, issues such as how do we create an appealing, engaging game for both boys and girls that contains accurate science, sound pedagogical practice, and students actually learn something from it. So that's our goal. We want to be at the intersection there between pedagogy, science, and game design. We're also using this to serve as an experimental stimulus in a number of studies that we're doing related to gender, play style, and learning. So I'm going to jump in to the demo right away here. Okay. So the beginning here, we'll present a little bit of the fiction. We're mixing a little bit of fiction, a little bit of fantasy with accurate science as we go along here. So you'll sort of see that.
You are a member of Life Preservers, an ancient alien organization dedicated to protecting the natural ecosystem of planets where intelligent life might evolve. Earth is one of the planets the team you lead is designed to protect.
So we have this fiction where these life preservers were protecting Earth from problems.
Begin by customizing my appearance. I am your chief scientist, and then I will update you on the mission.
We have our chief scientist here. We can, go and customize her appearance and so forth, kind of personalize the experience so the students can do that. Let's continue.
We have an impending emergency that threatens the evolution of life on Earth. Hunter aliens are sending 2 automated seed ships to Earth at the beginning of the age of the dinosaurs.
Okay, I'm going to
I have
skip
created
by
an
that.
interactive game that will introduce you to life on Earth during the age.
So the intro there described that there's these 2 ships coming. We can only divert one of them. So to decide which one to divert, we need to understand the creatures on Earth during the age of dinosaurs and understand these issues of evolution and adaptation to know which one we want to divert when they get here. Okay, so we can go through, we've got the tree of life here. We use cutscenes to explain some of the learning content, sort of just-in-time learning, and to reflect on what we've done. I can click on the turtle here, get a description, learn what environment they lived in, what they ate, what eats them. We have what we call adaptation questions here, which guide the learning. The first round here just is sort of understanding the tree itself. So I was around during the age of dinosaurs, and my species still exists today, so you have to sort of understand how to read the diagram here.
Precisely.
So we go through and explore this a bit.
Precisely.
This one, you can see the creature died in the Cretaceous period. If I get one wrong here.
Oh no! Precisely. Fabulous.
And good old T-Rex here.
Indeed.
So we give them a round summary at the end. There's 3 variations of the game. This one actually is a timed version of the game. There's other variations, part of the research study we're doing.
Many more species have existed on Earth than are alive today. Changes in the environment often cause all members of a species to die off and the species becomes extinct. Sometimes, over many generations, a species adapts to a new environment, changing so much that it is considered a new species.
So you can see the little
The alien
cutscene
invasion
here
will
sort of
change the
describing what they're
environment by
looking at.
adding new species. Alien species could cause creatures in some branches to become extinct. Members of some branches might adapt and live on.
So
Either
also a
result
little
may
bit of
change the
storytelling
future
there.
of life on Earth.
We've got many rounds. I've got sort of a cheat menu here, so I'm going to jump right to the invasion round.
The alien ships are on their way. One is filled with Centauran hoofed foxes, small but effective hoofed carnivores. The other carries large meat-eating Denebian dragons. You have only enough resources to divert one of the 2 species of aliens. Which one will you block, sending it into a deadly orbit close to the sun? Which alien species will you let through?
I'm going to skip forward here. So in this round, we can explore these alien creatures, learn a little bit about them, what we know of them, and then we need to pick 4 Earth creatures that we think the Centurion hoof fox would likely eat, pick 4 which we think the Denebian dragons would eat, and then we pick which creature we want to let through. So it looks like I'm almost out of time, so let me quit out of that. It's built in Flash. Ongoing research. Thank you. Nice job.
Now Cindy Gray is going to answer that question, where is Carmen? At Ohio State.
Hello.
Carmen is coming.
Did you see that?
What?
Carmen!
No. Where's Carmen?
Over there.
Carmen.
Oh, wow. What is Carmen?
Take the Carmen tour.
Okay, let's do it.
University chose Desire to Learn as its new course management system, we needed a way to introduce the software to faculty, staff, and students. Desire to Learn offers enterprises using their software the opportunity to choose a unique name for their course management system. The Ohio State University chose Carmen. The Carmen logo was created and announcements were made through print and electronic media. Like in the cartoon I just showed, many faculty and staff and students had heard about Carmen and knew that Carmen was coming, but they just didn't know what to expect. To give the university community an introduction to Carmen, we created the Carmen Tour.
Welcome to Carmen, the new course management system of The Ohio State University. Carmen is feature-packed and puts powerful learning tools in the hands of instructors and students. You will find Carmen easy to use. Its intuitive interface is easy to navigate and to tailor to your preferences. Every screen includes tips on what to do with the tools there. The help system is extensive and searchable. Instructors can build a class website and include their lecture notes, post news announcements, post discussion questions and link questions to specific course materials, chat, email, or page class members, and create web pages with Carmen's built-in HTML editor. Students can use Carmen to keep track of their course material, drop off assignments in the Dropbox, work in groups, and check their grades. At any time during this tour of Carmen, you may select from this menu a topic you'd like to explore in more detail.
And I'm going to show you a few of the tools.
The quiz tool is versatile, allowing efficient creation of quizzes, exams, and tests using a variety of question types, including short answer, arithmetic, multiple choice, true, false, and matching. The built-in equation editor is useful for many types of questions. Instructors can store questions in the question library and draw on that data bank to create their quizzes. The Chat and Canvas tool is an interactive area where Carmen users can chat online in real-time discussions. The Canvas can be used to illustrate discussion points. For example, an instructor could use a chat session to help a group of students organize their class project and presentation.
I'm happy to report that Carmen is going strong at Ohio State University now, and the Carmen Tour is still being used for new users and those who would like to see an overview of a specific tool. The Carmen Tour is flexible enough for expansion, so when we have additional upgrades, we can add a summary of the tools and features. In all of our software, we have wishful dreams of future things that we would like to use. Something like a time extender would be handy right now.
Thank you, Cindy. Now it's Hannah Sloan and Nick Smirker from Penn State University, and they're going to do Studio 204.
All right. All right. What is this thing called Studio 204? Studio 204 is at its heart a 24/7 video studio located in a large computer lab. The studio offers two Sony VX2100 video cameras, a professional low lighting kit, chroma green and gray screen, two Samson wireless microphones, and an Audio-Technica boom mic and pole. Additionally, we just added our own mobile podcasting station, which consists of a 12-inch PowerBook, mic kit, and iLife 06, which enables us to record in the studio and on location. It's the place to go for personalized help with shooting and editing all video projects. Our website is the place to go for printable and video tutorials. All of our podcast network it's one of the first at University Park. And why does Studio 204 exist? A need was seen at University Park for both faculty and students who are just beginning to work with video. The studio satisfies the distinct needs of faculty and students individually. Students come to the studio for specialized help with their video projects, as opposed to going and asking a lab consultant and hoping that they know the software. Students can come to Studio 204 and be certain that one of our consultants will know the answer to their question. We do this with one-on-one instruction that is informal and empowering. We teach students how to work with video from the first shot through pressing their final DVD. And we do this for everyone from film students to business students. The faculty appreciate Studio 204 because we allow instructors to focus on constructing the best content-driven media assignments instead of worrying about the technical aspects. We offer, through the faculty section of our website, complete information on how to assign and assess video projects. Once assigned, instructors can be sure that students will get reliable and professional help and will get it on the latest and most appropriate hardware and software tools. As we mentioned, Studio 204 is an end-to-end solution, first shot to final product. We offer students storyboarding templates, planning and consultations, and a mandatory 20-minute video orientation in the studio. Students are prepared and ready to shoot before the tape even goes into the camera. Before every appointment, consultants take the time to help students prepare lights, screens, and props. We are also available during every appointment for immediate troubleshooting and advice. This takes away any fear of shooting and allows creativity to flow. After filming is wrapped, students can edit in the computer lab or in the multimedia editing room, both on site. Consultants help with everything from the basics in iMovie to advanced techniques in Final Cut Pro. We will sit with our clients and go through every process step by step if need be. We also take a step back to offer suggestions for overall project composition. When editing is finished, consultants also make sure that projects are maximized for whatever medium of delivery is needed, from PowerPoint to streaming video. And if a student comes to us and says, I got this home and it's not exactly the way that I want it, we'll troubleshoot things until it's perfect. The great thing about Studio 204's location is that the building is open 24/7. Students can get post-production help immediately after a video shoot by making a later appointment, grabbing a consultant as they help others, or by walking into our office. Besides the help the consultants provide, students can also take advantage of our website for video tutorials, printable tutorials on software like iDVD, Final Cut Pro, iPhoto, Premiere, and more. With the Vodcast Network, students can download iPod-friendly versions of our tutorials to take right into the editing room with them for late-night editing sessions. We also offer orientation in video format, as well as videos on group project planning, green screening, and troubleshooting with our cameras, lights, and mics. With all that Studio 204 offers, who's taking advantage of it? We are a multidiscipline facility, and we help everyone from film majors to engineers to business students. We find a lot of great video projects come from colleges who with no multimedia resources of their own, and students are very appreciative of our help. We also have grad students in archiving research footage, and students with pre-recorded tapes, their bands or grandma's birthday parties, sometimes even to share with their classes. And we have a couple of examples, video projects.
This is an example. This is, we edited it down a bit, but it's a tutorial from our site on how to use a green screen. Just get the video started. And it shows students how to light for the green screen, how to set up and shoot for the green screen. Takes them all the way through from the actual shooting process into the editing room.
I wanted to see that one. We can always count on Jared Bendis to do something wild for 5 minutes of fame. I think he's up to about 40 or 45 minutes after all these years. This year, I think it's going to be something that I think I need, the Declutsifier, a system for increasing hand-eye coordination.
Thank you. I didn't come up with the name, by the way. A friend of mine said, that's, Anyway, I'm doing this with Hillel Shield, who isn't here and hasn't seen this. But he knows about it, and he's really looking forward to it. So I saw him earlier, so we'll see. Well, the way this came about is that a friend of mine said, one of my other projects, he goes, I got the perfect faculty member for you. Set up the meeting. I go to the meeting. I show him the project. He goes, can't use it. So I said, all right, what's your biggest challenge? What do you want? And he said to me, all right, here, I've got a problem. This is the biggest problem I have right now. I'm a professor, and I have these slugs, and I have these students who operate on them, and they keep killing my tools. And the slugs that he tries to keep alive, but that's his biggest problem, is that these really expensive tools under high magnification get destroyed. And he said, I've noticed that the students who actually have previously done things with their hands do better than those that don't. And I don't want like a surgery simulator. I just want a way of making my students be able to practice certain skills. So the solution we came up was a way to practice their fine motor controls. We wanted something with different levels of difficulty, different levels of magnification, and they want to break the fixed assumption of control, which I'll show you in a second, and generic enough that other people could find it useful, like in, I don't know, electronics or art or things like that. Something really, really generic. So this is what we came up with. This is part one, by the way. So we run it, and it's running. Here we go. Wendy's just itching to go on me. So. All right, so first we're going to select our maze, and I've actually created a special maze. It looks remarkably like an NMC. Now I'm going to come over here and do 1-1. Oops, make sure it's not too loud. So my goal here is basically just to trace this very carefully. Notice I'm penalized if I don't. Now you're thinking, all right, this isn't that exciting. I can trace the NMC. Oops. I'm going to skip to the end. Now, the reason I wanted to show you that is it's pretty easy. You trace a maze. Well, let's do it again, but let's make the maze smaller. This is going to be really hard. Now, you can make it progressively smaller, and it gets progressively harder. Again, I'm going to skip to the end. I've come up with a way of making it so you can't cheat, but we'll get to that in a second. Last time around, I'm going to make the maze big again, but I'm going to make the mouse 10 times more sensitive. So now every time I move the mouse 1 pixel, it moves 10 pixels. And let me tell you, this ain't easy. So the idea is the maze will get smaller, but then it comes back up, and they have to break that assumption, that one-to-one correlation that they're used to gets broken. And they have to learn that the moment they get into a new situation, they have to adapt, which is the kind of thing that's going to happen under a microscope. So he hasn't tried this yet, and we haven't seen this yet. Sorry about that. We put in various mazes, various skill sets. A little bit it collects how long it took you to do it, and also how much bad time you've done as well. And again, I'm going to make it so you can't cheat, because right now you can kind of zip over if you don't mind the noise. So in a nutshell, thank you.
That was great. Now we're going to hear from Ruben Puentedura, who's going to tell us about the elephant's tail using pachyderm in medical narrative.
Thank you. So, all right. I'm going to show you a couple of images. When you go to a doctor's office, is this sort of the mental image that you would like to see? Or maybe are you scared it's going to be more like this? Well, maybe not either one. Maybe it's just going to look like this. Okay. And perhaps I'm just asking the wrong question, because what you've really been thinking all along is that you're going to have to wear one of these. So the bottom line is we have all these different images, but I'll bet you none of you has an image of a doctor that looks like this. This is Chagall's Eye in the Village, and of course it's Chagall's image of a storyteller. And you may think of doctors as many things, but generally we don't think of them as storytellers, and in fact that's not a role they generally assume. Because while they have the elements of the story, they generally get written down on patient charts like this, and they comprise elements like this but the rest of the story just isn't there. Now you can say, well, okay, it'd be nice, but so what? Well, here's what happens. Typically in the modern day hospital, the situation is not that you just have one doctor and that's the only person you see. You have multiple doctors, multiple nurses, technicians, and they all talk to each other. But none of them really is telling a story. None of them is constructing a story with the other. With the result that you can wind up with a Swiss cheese. Each of their individual pictures of the patient has a small hole, and if all the holes line up together, bad things happen. So I got a call from Avis Hayden, who's a patient safety specialist at Southwestern Vermont Medical Center, and she said, can you come down so we can talk about digital storytelling projects to change the situation with the Swiss cheese? And the question is, can we plug up the holes? We started out with a traditional video digital storytelling project, and we found that while it worked very well, it was, in fact, this project that allowed us to convince the doctors, the nurses, the staff that, yes, this was a worthwhile endeavor, yes, this had value to it. We also found that the cost and difficulty would have made it very difficult to sustain this. So it's not a sustainable way to achieve this. So then we said, well, what about doing it differently? And we turned to our friend, Pachyderm. So what you're going to see now is the result of taking Pachyderm's basic templates and repurposing them for the purpose of telling a story, in this case about anticoagulants and what happens when miscommunications occur. So go on. Turn this for a second. So here is what you see as the main screen. And you'll notice that we have three storytellers. Our first storyteller is the doctor. All names have been changed here, by the way, but the situation is absolutely authentic, and the voices are authentic. And we have the doctor assuming the role, if you will, of a Greek chorus throughout the story. When you go to any one of the different stages of the story, let's go with disappointment, you can zoom in. By the way, you can literally zoom in, so this can also be used for medical instruction if you wanted to examine x-rays. And you can now hear the voices of the patient.
To put it mildly, I exploded. I had geared myself up for this horrendous test, and because somebody made a mistake, I couldn't have it. I wanted them to go ahead with the procedure. I shouted.
Or the nurse.
When I saw Mrs. Barlow's name on the schedule, I realized that she was a late add-on on the schedule. My schedule was not current. They had
So you can listen to the story as it's told from all the perspectives and find that a new story emerges and a type of story that hopefully can help plug up those holes. So just to wrap up here then, I want to thank the people at Southwestern Vermont Health Center who worked on this project, particularly Avis Hayden, who's the patient safety specialist, Mark Novotny, who's the chief of staff, and then the pseudonymous but very real Mrs. Barlow, Janet Breed, and Frank Monroe. Thank you.
Okay, and our last contestant, Lisa Prosek from the Medical University of Ohio, has The Making of Anatomy and Physiology Revealed.
Anatomy and Physiology is an interactive multimedia dissection program. It was developed for McGraw-Hill Publishing Company to be used for undergraduate students taking anatomy and physiology. Anatomy Revealed is a 4 CD-ROM series which contains 9 systems. Within those 9 systems, there's 175 dissections, of which you saw a few images. There are 87 animations, 5,100 highlighted structures. APR was developed at the Medical University of Ohio by the Center for Creative Instruction and the Department of Neurosciences. The team consists of 2 medical illustrators, 3 programmers, 2 animators, 1 3D animator, 3 anatomists, and 2 content consultants. We put together a promotional piece called The Making of the APR Movie. It highlights the history and the development process that we went through for the current series. It was developed by CCI to be used for the McGraw-Hill sales force. And I'm going to show you a small snippet of it called The Process.
The process begins with a series of meetings to determine everything from the user interface to the structures included in the program. Throughout the process, McGraw-Hill gathers feedback from undergraduate level instructors and student focus groups from around the country. After the initial planning is complete, the anatomists begin to dissect, 1 layer at a time. Each layer of anatomy is captured with digital photographs. When a dissection is completed, the digital photos then go to the medical illustrators, who must critically align the layered images, along with retouching the photographs to enhance hard-to-see structures or to correct abnormalities.
There was one interesting thing with the cadaver we used for this CD. The gentleman had scoliosis, that's lateral curvature of the spine. This was obvious to us when we looked at his vertebral column, as well as the muscles on one side of his back were atrophied. So the illustrators had to go in and fix that so the anatomy would be accurate.
Working closely with a team of anatomists, the illustrators then begin to highlight the structures that will be identified in the program. The digital dissection images, along with video and 3D illustrations, are also used to create the animations. The images and animations, along with interface graphics, are assembled by multimedia specialists to create the finished product. The undergraduate level Anatomy and Physiology Revealed features a redesigned interface, along with many exciting enhancements. The program allows hundreds of structures to be tagged and labeled for quick identification. The user can also manipulate layered images to create unique views of the anatomy. Any image can be saved from the program for use as handouts or in classroom presentations. In addition, high-quality animations help students visualize the most challenging topics. Radiologic images, such as X-rays, MRIs, and CT scans, help the student identify key structures. An improved self-test allows the user to select the system, region, and test type, providing a focused review of the material. The program also includes pronunciation of all structures and terms.
APR has been out on the market for about a year, and it's received some recognition. It was a finalist for the Cody Awards in 2006. It's a finalist for the AEP Distinguished Achievement Award. And finally, it won the McGraw-Hill Corporate Achievement Award this year. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, and let's hear it for all of our 5-minute of fame presenters. Now we have a special new wrinkle this year. I wish I did this last year when I got to do 5 minutes of fame. Each of our presenters are going to get their own take-home gong. Wow, that's loud. It's engraved with NMC 2006 FMOF, and they know what that means. Thanks again. This has been a great session. And I think we have one last announcement, right, Larry?
Nancy's got a couple of housekeeping things. I would like to get the Center of Excellence Award winners down just for a quick photograph, as well as Carl. And passing out the gongs now. And Nancy, you got some housekeeping things?
I do, just a couple things. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that as soon as this session is over,
We can exit out the doors down here. And we're really excited this year about our Corporate Partners Showcase. For those of you who have been to our conference in the past, as you know, for the corporate partners, the exhibits, we've always had them during breakfast and lunch and breaks, and they're not real well attended. And so we really tried to do something different this year, and we've turned it into an event. And it's going to be from 4 to 6. There's food, there's drinks, there's going to be lots of prize drawings, games to play, and things like that. So I hope everybody will join us right after that. Just out the door and back to the ballroom. I wanted to remind everybody that we don't go back to Peter B. Lewis building after this, after today. So tomorrow, all the sessions and then the closing session will be here at the hotel. The breakout rooms are on the second floor, just down the hall. They're really easy to find, and you'll see the NMC signs. There is one room change for tomorrow. Room 205 has changed to room 207. So make a note of that in your book, but there'll be a sign at the correct door also. And, oh yes, the bus company called me today, and they would like to offer a shuttle to the airport for $15. And they can run it at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 2 o'clock tomorrow. And so if anybody's interested, I'm going to make a little flyer and have it at the registration desk about that. I think cabs are about 30, so it'd be about half price. And,
So go to Mocha and come back for Second Life?
yep, sorry. Lynn Steinbeck has invited us to go to Mocha tonight for an exhibition they're having there. I believe it's about 2 blocks away, so you can just walk over there and then come back tonight at 8 o'clock and meet us for Second Life. And that's it.
Nancy.